Welcome everybody to SAM Preparation webinar. My name is Bulos Abdallah. I am an academic advisor here in the School of Engineering Advising Hub. I mainly advise mechanical engineers and materials engineers. And joining me today is Karen. Karen, you want to introduce yourself?
Thanks, Bulos. My name is Karen Lewis, and I am also an academic advisor in the Hub, advising civil, environmental, and undeclared engineers. Welcome, and thank you for attending.
Thank you, Karen. Let's get right into it. So here is what to expect. This shouldn't really be more than 10, 15, 20 minutes tops of a presentation on for SAM prep and how to prepare for your SAM prep. That's what we're here for. So let's get right into it then. First things first, know who your advisor is. If you haven't met with your advisor yet, you're gonna have to, right? This is a mandatory requirement type of thing. You will not be able to register for your classes in March if you have not met with your advisor because of the SAM hold that is on your account currently. These are our wonderful advisors. This is my awesome team here in SOE Hub. If you see your major here, then that's going to be your advisor. You can find our links on our website to schedule appointments. So please feel free to do that whenever you can. But what do you bring with you to that SAM appointment? There are three crucial things. One is the 4-year plan. The 4-year plan helps you track your progress. You're going to have your finger on the pulse at all times. You know what you're taking, you know what to expect to take in the future. You are also going to be bringing the Haas Core electives worksheet. Haas can be a little bit complicated, but we have a wonderful worksheet that can help you understand exactly what you're getting yourself into. There's a lot of requirements. There's a lot of things that are mandatory, and it's very easy to kind of get lost in things. So that worksheet does a really good job in explaining and helping you understand exactly how to choose your pathway, what your communication intensive is, excuse me, your inquiry, your 4,000 level class. So make sure you read it carefully. It shouldn't take you more than a couple minutes anyway. And then finally, the easiest thing to do for your SAM is to go ahead and declare your pathway, which we will get into later on in our presentation. So first things first, right? The 4-year plan. This is what it's going to look like. Let me actually switch into this here real quick. So this is what the 4-year spreadsheet looks like. You're going to go ahead and find your major. I'll use mechanical engineering in this instance, since that's what I advise and what I know the most. We already did our first semester, right? So go right ahead and put in what classes you did here. You can go right ahead and overwrite everything here. First things first, though, I forgot to mention, fill out this top information here first. You have no idea how many times students will send me a 4-year plan with either somebody else's name on it because a friend did it or a roommate shared that with them, or if it's blank, we're just not going to have any idea how to identify that with you. So make sure you throw that in there. If you have any sort of AP or IB credits or other transfer credits that you brought in before you came to RPI, this is a great way to track that sort of information. So going back to what I was saying earlier, replicate your first 2 semesters in these 2 boxes here, and then we're going to see how the dominoes will fall for the rest of our semesters here. If you're planning on taking any courses over the summer, Kelly and Kim did a wonderful presentation yesterday on that. I would suggest reviewing that video on our YouTube page or getting in touch with your advisor. But this is a really good spot where you can put that information here. Now, depending on your major, you're going to see things such as restricted elective, a science elective, technical, computation, free elective. So many electives are going to be thrown at you. It means that you have options. Most of the time, your template is going to have those options listed. So for example, for mechanical engineering, in your spring semester of your sophomore year, you have an engineering design elective, and these are your 2 options here, and so on and so forth with your computation, your technical electives. And then just brief information about your free electives and what your options are. You can mainly find all of those answers on here, but if you're still a little confused on what to choose, that's okay. We don't expect you to have all of the answers and all the blanks filled in for your senior year or your junior year, but at least know that they're there, at least know what to expect. Karen, did I miss anything?
No, I think that looks good. And to Boulos's point, free electives and all those electives don't need to be populated, but we do want you to understand what they are. And the reason why we do this is because next year you're going to be assigned a faculty advisor. You won't be in the hub. And the faculty advisor is going to ask you specifically what courses you plan to take and your plans moving forward. So this just clarifies things. It makes your meetings with your future faculty advisors quite easy. And now that you know your degree requirements, you're not going to have any surprises when you apply to graduate in senior year. So moving forward, I think this is it for you, Bulos, right?
I believe so. Let's see. Yep, we went over all of this stuff. Just really quick, Karen, on the right-hand side, let me go back to the spreadsheet here real quick. There are additional boxes. We'll get into Haas in just a second where Karen takes over, but go right ahead and fill in your 5 Haas core electives right here, even though you can spot them throughout your spreadsheet. It's just a really good idea, a really good practice to have it there and visible. That way you could see it at all times. You don't have to go digging for it. Same thing with your free electives. Same thing with any additional classes that you plan on taking, as well as maybe possibly a minor or even like your free electives, for example. And that is all I have about the spreadsheet. Karen, over to you.
Okay, so now we're going to start talking about the Haas core electives. I am going to actually bring a sheet over. This is what the Haas worksheet looks like, but we're going to take a deeper look into that now. Just give me 1 second and I will bring that to you. Well, the Haas requirements require, if you look at your template, you're going to see that there are spaces for 5 Haas courses. Now, one thing that is there is a place on the template to populate AP credits, transfer credits as well, which can apply towards the Haas core, but that's something that you're going to want to discuss the details with your hub advisor to see where exactly they will place on your plan. But in the meantime, if you do have AP credit or IB or transfer credit, just make sure that you populate that somewhere on the 4-year Excel sheet. But to specifically speak about Haas, the prefixes that are listed are arts communication, language literature, GSAS, inquiry, philosophy, STSO, writing, COGS, econ, and psych. Now, most of you at this point should have already completed at least one step within the Haas core, and that would be your Haas inquiry requirement. So that would generally be an INQR prefixed course. Now, some of you might have done one, some of you might have even done two, and that's completely fine. What you would do is fill out one inquiry course here, and then we talk about pathways, and we'll go into details with those with you when we meet with you one-on-one during your SAM meeting. But we want you to have a general understanding of what the pathways entail. And you can look in your RPI catalog to see the full list of pathways and the courses that are listed required in those pathways. But generally, out of the 5 Haas classes that you need to complete at RPI, 3 of those have to be within a pathway. And a pathway is generally just for related material. So for example, if you took Principles of Econ either this fall or this spring, and you wanted to do the econ pathway, you would populate Principles of Econ here, and you would list econ as your pathway, and you would also populate Principles of Econ in the first course sequence of your pathway. So this form or the sheet actually would potentially have courses that populate in multiple areas. But at the end of the day, 5 courses complete, and you have to have all the boxes checked on this sheet. So again, we have a communication intensive requirement. Some of you may have completed that communication intensive requirement with your Haas inquiry course. So you might find that you would have the course listed in your Haas inquiry, and you would also have it populate in your comm intensive area. We also need a 4,000 level, only one, but you can do more than that. And then at the end of the day, we're going to populate all 5 Haas courses at the bottom. So you're going to have to do 5, and you're going to have to do a 4,000 comm intensive, pathway, and inquiry. And a couple of things worth noting, especially if you brought AP credit to RPI, 1,000 level Haas classes. So for example, if you're bringing in AP history or literature or writing, anything of those count towards this requirement. You are not allowed to utilize more than 12 credits total at the 1,000 level. So if you've already exceeded the 1,000 level quota, some of those courses would have to be utilized as free electives instead, and those questions can be addressed during your SAM meeting. So this is generally what your Haas core is going to look like. So here is your sheet. And we want you to bring that with you when you join our meeting during SAM. And we want you to have it at least filled out with what you've already done. And you can forecast what you've done so far and what you plan to do. Those things are subject to change, and we totally understand that. You might change your mind about your pathway, and that's okay too. So having said that about the pathways, this is the third part that Bulos mentioned about your meeting. You need to select your pathway concentration. We prefer that you do this ahead of time. It takes a little bit of time to show up on DegreeWorks to actually have us be able to see it. So I suggest doing it maybe a couple of days before your meeting so we can verify with you that your pathway was declared. Pathway declaration is a graduation requirement. And unfortunately, we're dealing with some seniors right now that never declared a pathway, and their graduation status is in jeopardy. So in the hub, we require you to do this ahead of time to ensure that we don't run into any issues later on. So in order to declare your pathway, you're going to log into SIS, and you're going to go to your student menu, and you see that the big black arrow there, that is going to show you where you have your pathway concentration option. Once you click that button, it will give you a drop-down menu of all of the pathways that are available for your catalog year. You can select one, and then that's all you need to do is submit the changes at the bottom. Now, if you change your mind about your pathway, you decide econ isn't for you or whatever you chose originally, you have the option every semester to change your pathway. We don't encourage you to do it every semester, but once you find your path, you can change it to reflect the appropriate settings. Now in DegreeWorks, which is the bullet directly above the select pathway concentration bullet, that is where you're going to see your pathway requirements. Once you declare the pathway, when you're looking at DegreeWorks, it should populate the required courses for the pathway so you could track your progress. Another thing that we talk about very often in the hub is transfer courses. Obviously, this is an optional thing. It's not a requirement that you take classes over the summer outside of your ARCH requirement here at RPI, but a lot of students like to advance their curriculum by taking courses at home during the summer and then transferring them back to RPI. Now, Bulos mentioned that Kim and Kelly did a presentation yesterday. We did record it, so if you want to take a look at that, it's always helpful to review the process if you are considering this option. So what we generally like to do when we have our SAM meetings is we want to know from you if this is something you indeed plan to do, because we will take a note and then we will look for the forms and the approvals later on in the spring semester. And basically you take the course over the summer, you get a C minus or better after it's approved, obviously, and you order the transcript and send it back. So there's a couple of caveats to that, which we could go over in the meeting, just in case you're taking a course that has prerequisites, you will need overrides, and we'll talk about that a bit as well. So if you take a course that, for example, if you're taking a math class and the math class is a prereq for something that you plan to register for this coming fall, you will not be able to register for that course because you haven't satisfied the prereq yet. So you're going to have to reach out to the professor, and we have a form, it's called an override request form that we will give out or email to all of you to basically use as an email form to fill out and request the specifics of the class that you're requesting an override for. And you would detail that you're taking summer classes. So that way the professor can grant you an override and you would be able to register for the class. Now, specifically, there are some faculty who require you to actually transfer the class in order to register for their classes. They will not grant overrides. And if that's the instance, that is a risk that you might take. So proper planning with your hub advisor is important if you are planning to take summer classes. So going over some important dates that are coming up this semester. Obviously, we're in the middle of our spring semester at this point, and the timing is perfect that consultation month begins today, February 1st. Our drop deadline for all courses is March 1st. So if you are thinking about dropping a class that you might be struggling with, it's really important to connect with your hub advisor before you do that, just to ensure that there will not be any repercussions or delays in your graduation as a result of that. We do expect time tickets to be assigned somewhere around the March 1st date, but that's always kind of a floating target, and we will let you know when we receive updates on that. And then spring registration will begin March 18th, and you guys usually register towards the tail end of that, so your registration window would probably fall towards the end of March, early April. So those are things to keep on your radar. So in summary, use our hub website to get the forms that you need for your SAM meeting. We will be posting this on YouTube. So if you have a friend or someone who wasn't able to attend the webinar and has questions about the SAM meeting requirements, they can always check out all of our videos on YouTube. And we just want to say thank you for joining us today. And if you have any questions, we will check those in the chat now.
I do want to mention real quick too before we sign out. The course catalog is going to be referenced a lot during your SAM meeting. If you did go ahead and plan out your 4-year plan and you use the course catalog, always make sure that it's set to your year. The current year right now, or the current version right now, is the 23-24 version, and that's the catalog that you're going to be sticking with until you graduate. So just make sure that you're always double checking to see what version you are using and not an older or even a newer one in the future. That way it's not going to cause any sort of issues when you are planning for your plan.
Excellent point.
All right. So no questions in the chat. We are going to end the recording. If you are watching and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us or your advisor. We are more than happy to assist. Thank you.
Thank you.